sing tonight. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. And welcome to the Avant-garde High School for this evening's concert. We ask that you please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices during the performance. Tonight's performance will be recorded by AGTV and will be available on YouTube next week. Also, please keep the aisles and exits clear at all times. And now, the Fine Arts Department is proud to present the AGHS Colonial Band and Choir's Small Ensembles concert. We will be starting with our jazz band, which is set to play a tune by George and Ira Gershwin. Some of you may recognize Embraceable You. The song you just heard is a wonderful Gershwin standard, recorded and performed countless times. Featured was Zach Dunn on trumpet as a soloist, and then we also had two sax solos, Emma Lindsay and Marley Knowles. Give them a round of applause. Oh, it was Brett for that one? I'm so sorry. It was Brett Lessing on that solo. Don't clap for that. Okay, so in that spirit, I'll talk to you just for a second as we're getting the jazz and choir. There'll be some transition time between some of these tunes because you're going to hear such a wide variety of music tonight. This concert is a great representation of what music making is really supposed to be about, which is getting together with a small group of people and making something happen. A lot of the stuff that you're going to hear tonight was predominantly rehearsed and prepared by the students themselves. So there was a lot of time where they were working in small groups on this. Chamber, which you're going to hear later, we've still never once played this together with everybody on stage. This will be the first time. So be incredibly impressed in the work ethic of the students that you see on stage from both the band and choral department. I want to point out an error because I make them quite frequently. And so Angel Brunsteiner is omitted from the program, and so I apologize. I'm sorry, Angel. I forgot to put your name on there. Keystone testing this week, guys. Lots of fun. So next, we're going to hear Brooklyn's Here from the choral department. Hear from the thrilling musical Newsies. This song is sung by newsboys in their threatened strike against the newspapers. Combining a military-type march rhythm with a Broadway rock feel, the result is a tremendously appealing showcase for male singers. Here are the boys from choir singing Brooklyn's Here. The next two pieces you're going to hear are going to be played by our flute quartet. So this is another example of one of the small groups. They rehearse this entirely on their own. I've heard it a couple of times, but generally I give them the music and I let them go. So you can see there that they're going to be playing a bagatelle by Beethoven as well as a dance by Camille Saint-Saëns. So some beautiful classical works. The flute quartet. It's actually a flute quartet because they are playing quartet music, but I let 5 of them in, so you can call it what you want. in Delilah by Camille Saint-Saëns. Each year, senior members of the choir have the option to sing a senior solo of their choice at the spring concert. Tonight, you will hear 3 seniors perform their solos. First up is senior Kiana Tor singing Mama, I'm a Big Girl Now from the hit musical Hairspray. he's like very serious about it, and will stand outside of my office and let everybody else do their thing, and then sneak in and say, "Hey, Mr. Russo, I have a question. I really want to play this piece that I found on the internet. And are you familiar with the Canadian brass?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." He said, "There's a version of Amazing Grace." He said, I've heard it. It's pretty tricky." He said, I think we can do it." I said, "All right, if you think so." And so I left it up to them to put it together and rehearse, and I heard it for the first time like 30 minutes ago, and it sounds really great. You're in for a treat. So this is our brass quintet playing Amazing Grace, arranged by the Canadian brass. Mrs. Diamond said that when she dies in 75 years, that they're going to play that at her funeral. So hopefully I'll be around here. I guess. So I made another error and forgot to include something in the program. What you're going to hear is two of our percussionists. You can come up here, and they're going to perform a piece called "Clapping Music" by Steve Reich, and it's an avant-garde piece. It's designed for two people to clap. What you're going to hear is a specific ostinato rhythm. It's clapped in unison, and then one player just shifts that rhythm slightly earlier, and then it all lines up differently, and then slightly earlier, and then slightly earlier, over and over again, 12 times until it lines back up at the end. It's really interesting and an intense challenge for both players to lock in. So clapping music. a jazz-inflected doo-wop song from the 1930s, made popular in 1961 by the vocal group the Marcells. Here is Blue Moon, arranged by Roger Emerson, sung by the full AGHS choir. This next piece will definitely be my favorite thing on the concert. You're going to hear senior soloist Jefferson Zarella sing "Take Me Home, Country Roads" by John Denver.
Mama.
piece that you're going to hear is performed by our chamber ensemble. This is just the top musicians from each instrumental section in the band. So they audition for this when they do their spring chair audition. They're selected. As I said, we've had like 2 after-school rehearsals for it. One of them we were going back and forth for section leaders, so nobody was here for all of it. This will be the first time that we've done this together. This is a very challenging piece of music. We actually played this when I was in college at WVU, and it was tricky. We were struggling with it, and my band director at the time sent us a video of some 5th graders in Japan playing it really well. And he's like, you guys stink, you should be able to play this. There's 5th graders in Japan who can do it. And the lesson is that there are 5th graders in Japan who can do everything better than us. But these high school kids in America are going to do a pretty nice job. This is Slava by Leonard Bernstein. From the hit Broadway show Thoroughly Modern Millie, this 20s style romp expresses the all too familiar dilemma of a girl trying to get over a guy. Here are the girls from the choir singing Forget About the Boy from Thoroughly Modern Millie. I got a phone call from Miss Cirillo last week that said, "Hey, you're Charles Grosso the third, right?" And I was like, "Why?" She said, "Hey, don't worry about it." It wasn't the first time I've been called a dirty rat, and it won't be the last. Yeah, I like it. It was good. It was nice. It's really great to see the music program come together. I love having band parents and band students the opportunity to hear choral music. And I love for the choral department to have the opportunity to hear instrumentalists play. We're all trying to do the same thing. It's wonderful to see students making music in so many different ways. That being said, to my band parents, if you are enjoying this, the choir concert has actually not happened yet. It's going to be next Thursday night, same time, same place. So I would love to see some of you come out here and support music in any way that we can. I'll be here. So the next thing you're going to hear is the Clarinet Quartet playing Sorcerer's Apprentice, which may not be a title that stands out to many of you, but I'm sure that you will recognize the tune if you've seen Fantasia and Mickey Mouse making the brooms come to life, or the moms, whatever they are. So I love this one. My son loves this one. Sorcerer's Apprentice. Don't let Miles down, guys. That may be the most famous bass clarinet part ever written. So, excellent job. Shout out to Carly Fisher on that one. Up next, you'll see senior soloist Charlie Stillwagon singing "When the Party's Over" by Billie Eilish. Up next, you'll hear our low brass quartet. I'm going to move the chair back to Stella Neath. They're going to perform a piece entitled Eine kleine Nachtmusik, which means a little bit of night music. Once again, another title that you may not recognize off the top of your head, but if you've watched any amount of Bugs Bunny, you will recognize the tune once you hear it start. Eine kleine Nachtmusik performed by our low brass quartet. Winner of Best Original Song at both the Golden Globe and Academy Awards, this beautiful ballad is timeless. The love duet sings of love for the city and for each other. Here's the choir singing City of Stars from La La Land. While they're coming out, I'll take a second to talk about this ensemble since I haven't tonight. The choir is one of the vocal ensembles that we offer here at the high school. It is an audition-only ensemble, so we offer chorus and choir. Anybody who wants to have the opportunity to sing can do so, but if you really want to do a little bit of extra work, then you try out for choir. And so they sing everything chorus sings, as well as some additional, more challenging tunes, and so you've heard them a couple of times tonight. Here's choir singing City of Stars.
There's so much that I can see.
Next you will hear our sax quintet performing Habanera from Carmen, an opera by George Bizet. If you came to the small ensembles last year, then you may recognize him play some excerpts from Carmen. If you didn't, this is another one that you've probably seen Bugs Bunny do. It was in the opening sequence of Up. It's probably been used in a million different pop culture references. You will recognize it when you hear it. Habanera, performed by the Sax Quintet. We'll Meet Again, one of the most famous songs of the World War II era, was reprised in the last broadcast of the Colbert Report by Stephen Colbert, and an assembled crowd of many of his most prominent guests. Tonight, we feature the choir's seniors singing We'll Meet Again. So while the jazz band sets up, before we end, I'll do a couple of thank yous. First of all, thank you for coming tonight. This is truly one of my favorite nights of the year. This is by far my favorite concert that we do because we get to see such a wide variety of music. And like I've been saying all night, a lot of this is very student-led. So you're seeing the breadth and depth of talent that exists here at Gallatin. I'm very blessed as a band director. My job is pretty easy when you get to work with kids who are as talented and motivated as the young men and women that you see on the stage here. Give them a round. That being said, I tell the kids all the time that talent is entirely meaningless. It will never get you anything in life at all without hard work and without dedication, without people to support you. So I thank you for supporting these young people, for driving them to practices, for putting up with the sound of fourth grade saxophone playing in your basement while they were learning how to do this. It's truly an investment. It also doesn't happen without adults, I don't know where they went, who can pour into these individuals. So I want to thank all of the members of our music faculty throughout the district. We see a couple of them here tonight. Mrs. Diamond, who was the middle school band director, so she's involved in every way. She's the only person probably who had a hand in everything that you saw tonight. She was playing the piano for the soloists and for the choir, and she taught a lot of these young men and women in middle school. So thank you, Mrs. Diamond, Mrs. Kendall, all of the elementary music teachers, and then my colleague here, Mrs. Cirillo. I said this last week. I don't know where she's at. She's probably doing something busy. Oh, you are. Hey, I love you. She's been a fantastic colleague, and I couldn't do this without her. We are blessed to have a music faculty here who truly cares about what we do. We're blessed to have a district that continues to support this. So I want to thank our administration all the way from the top down. I want to thank Mr. Eric Nuttall, who comes and records every concert, even though Dan has graduated and he has no need to be here other than to support us, and he always does and continues to. I will remember to give you a program tonight so you don't have to ask tomorrow and send somebody to come and get me. I forget every year. So what you're going to hear tonight is a wonderful Latin jazz tune, Malagueña. You can't do better when it comes to closing with a jazz band than a Latin tune like this. So Malagueña, hope you enjoy. continue to support music, continue to support these young people. It's a pleasure to be able to get up and do what we do. So thank you. Have a great night. See you back here next Thursday.